Welcome to Howler Bike Park. What you're seeing is Howler's base camp, where they've been in a mad rush to finish up everything before the opening date, which is just a few weeks away on May 20th. And just like the guys down at base camp, myself and the trail building company Reserve Concepts are all hurrying to finish this insane dual slalom trail and all of its massive features that I've been constructing. Last time, we made the addition of this shark fin that towers 20 feet high and 55 feet long. And in this video, we'll be adding the fourth massive feature that dang near ends up being double the length of that shark fin. On top of that, I'm giving away 2 brand new bikes, so keep your eyes peeled for how to win later on in this video. Now, let's get to building the longest feature I've had the privilege of ever making. Okay, so what you're looking at right here is the site of the next feature, and that's going to be a massively long drop. Nothing particularly crazy about it besides its length and the length that it's going to probably shoot you out, because that's going to be what the guys are saying is about 70 feet possibly. To get started on this one, I needed to clear the ground to get a good look at what I was working with, because this one was going to need a lot of posts to hold it up, considering how long it was going to be, which meant I was going to have to do a lot of drilling to get post bases anchored to the bedrock. Today, my main goal is to take this rock hammer and flatten out every spot where a post base is going to go. Once I do that, I can drive the anchor bolts in, get those all set, and then really it's like you just start putting up posts. Anyway, let's hit some rocks. Installing these post bases is a pretty easy process so long as you've got the right tools. It's really just a matter of flattening out the spot where it will go, then drilling a hole in the rock the same size as the bolt that will hold down the base. Then you just beat the bolt in and tighten it up. Most of these went pretty fast since the bedrock was right on top of the ground, but some required a bit of digging and others required a bit of rock finagling. I wanted to stick with the natural rocks that were already setting around in the area, so I winched one up the hill for use toward the front, and for another one I created a natural foundation in the ground. To do this, you just dig a hole, wedge large rocks at the bottom of it, and then pour smaller rocks on top and pat them down. Done correctly, you can get a really solid base to lay a large rock on that won't move for many decades. Okay, so now that we have all of our post bases in, I'm gonna start working on getting those cross braces and posts up. For this first one, I'm just gonna start with a cross brace. We don't need any posts because this is pretty low to the ground. The rest of them though, we'll do small amounts of post, and then we'll stick our cross brace across. Essentially, we're just making, I guess it's called hitching posts or something, where you walk up with your horse and you tie your horse up to it. It's just that, just 2 poles and then a cross brace. And then after that, we'll just run runners out and put the decking on top. Front post, I went a little more decorative with the bases since you'd be able to see it from the other trail. And of course, I couldn't simply just lay a round log on top for the cross brace. I'm always itching to try out a new joint that not only adds a cool look, but also increases the structural integrity of the feature. So, for the cross braces on this feature, I decided to do a sort of half-lap slash fish mouth joint. So that way you get the strength of a half-lap joint, but the look of a fish mouth joint, which has been becoming a new favorite of mine. If you're my age, you could probably relate when I say it kind of looks like these dudes from Sesame Street. like this for a couple days, rinsing and repeating that process until I had all of the cross braces up. For the back cross braces, I did opt out of the fish mouth portion since it wouldn't be seen and to speed things up a bit.
Okay, so all we have to do now is get our runners on. So what I'm doing for that is I've got my laser level set up back here at one height. Because this is a drop, we just want it to be completely flat across the entire thing. I'll just go off of that laser and measure down to these cross beams, and whatever that height is, that's what I'll cut my runner at. So we essentially, the entire way out, should have the exact same height if I do that correctly. Let's do it.
Most of my runners up, it was time to start addressing the entrance and exit of this feature, which were both a bit more complicated than the rest. For the entrance, I needed to cut down the rock and take it all out so that I could butt my boards flush against the ground. So I got a chop saw and started slicing the bedrock. Once I had those relief cuts in the rock, I was then able to break small chunks off and clear out the area. To attach the boards, I simply added a spacer between the ground and the board and ran rebar into the underside of the board to keep it from moving. There'd later be more to address with the entrance, but for now, I moved on to the exit. Since this was the front of the drop, where people would watch you send it 50+ feet, I wanted to make it look pretty cool. So firstly, I made this portion overhung by extending my runners out.
That looks good.
Where the showy part is for me, though, is in the bracing of the runners. For that, I milled down another log and attached it to the bottom of the post. After it was up, I drilled out 3 large holes. After that, I took 3 logs and shaped a round tenon on one side that would slip into those holes that we had just drilled.
That's perfect.
And then on the opposite side, I'd measure out and cut a T bridle joint. This was not as easy as it looks, but I just love this look with the white log slipped over that red lumber.
Oh, that's good.
Once I had those all together, then I finished it off by putting a cap over the end using the other half of our milled log.
That kind of stuff right there, that makes me happy.
That happiness was pretty short-lived though, because 3 pretty crappy things happened after this. The first thing being, by myself, I was going to have to carry around 150 boards uphill because we couldn't get our stack close enough. A big thanks to Chris though, because he at least got it halfway up the hill.
I'm so tired. That really sucked.
The second crappy thing that happened was realizing a small amount of dirt doesn't stay on rock very well. And since the entrance to this feature has the bedrock sloping out from one side, I was going to have to break even more rock out so that I could then pour concrete in its place so that it would sit flush with the boards. This also meant carrying 1,600 pounds of concrete mix uphill.
Holy hell.
Done concrete work either than pouring posts, so my learning curve on this one was quite steep. To start, I ran out of concrete mix, and then the next day I needed to drill into the other layer and attach rebars so that each layer would function as a whole. Luckily this time though, I did do a little bit better, and I liked the rock decoration on this one.
Way better. This garbage. This, you know, less so garbage.
Even with all of the carrying and whatnot, I did still have fun experimenting with the concrete. But that brings us to the third horrible thing, which was by far the worst.
32 feet. That is the distance from the lip of this drop to the lip of the landing where you would need to be at for it to be a flowy drop. That's the minimum distance. So, after some discussion and some thoughts, I'm gonna extend this thing out. Much as I don't want to, it's absolutely necessary, and sometimes in these sorts of builds, you just have to change stuff. I want this whole thing to be fun, for you not to have to pedal, and if we leave this like this, you're gonna have to pedal. So if you're gonna have to pedal, you're gonna have a bad time. So let's change this sucker.
So change this sucker is exactly what I did. I had Mike pull out some dirt to get me down to bedrock. I pulled even more dirt by hand to clean it up. Got 2 more post bases in. Processed more logs and got my posts up. Milled another log in half and carved the joinery for the cross brace.
Nice.
Extended more runners out. Added a center beam and carved half dovetail joints for the aesthetics. Added 3 more braces with decorative, intricate, and supportive joinery. And the last thing I needed to do was cap it all off with that same piece of lumber that I used from before. And finally, the only thing left to do was get our deck boards screwed on. As you can see, I let the boards go a little funky. We all decided that it looked kind of fun, so why not? Now, the only thing left to do is ride it. Well, that would be if the forecast didn't always look like this. I do have some footage of someone riding this thing though, and I'm going to show it to you. But first, let me tell you that the next video we do is going to be us riding the entire trail with all of the features that we made over the past several months. So keep your eyes peeled. When I say us though, I mean you. I want everyone and anyone who can make it out to Howler Bike Park on the 20th of this month to come out and ride this thing, if it's within your skill level. I'll be filming everyone riding it, and I'm hoping to get some really awesome footage of riders and of people running trains down both lines at the same time. It should be pretty amazing. On top of that though, I'll be giving away this medium frame D7 bike from Polygon there as well. Howler Bike Park, along with Mountain Movement, decked this thing out with all sorts of awesome components and upgrades. So if you don't come win it, I'm just gonna take it for myself. Anyway, now you have literally all reason to drop everything you're doing on May 20th and get out to Howler Bike Park, located in Walnut Shade, Missouri. If you can't make it to Howler though, you still have a chance to win a bike. Just click the link in my description of this video and sign up using any of these ways to get an entry, or do all of them and get multiple entries. Now, here's the riding footage I promised.
Wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. I mean, I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big.
This was before I extended the feature and the reasoning for extending it. As you can see, Mike had to pedal pretty much all the way through and yank the bike about as hard as possible. Even then, he's still right on top of the landing. Don't worry though, Reserve Concepts have been hard at work reshaping this landing and finishing this trail, so when you see the footage of this whole thing in action, I think you're gonna be just as stoked as I am about it all. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we're riding this thing.